Hi again, everybody. I've just had dinner, so I'll come on with this second video before I drift off and have a shower and go and listen to some music. Amy on the Go, Amy Ramadan, Amy's Life Journey, whatever name she goes by, I don't really know. I don't follow her as such. Occasionally I've watched a video. Do I think that they'd had any intention, real intention, of moving? No, I don't. I have to say that this is just my opinion, and I'll give you the reasons why. Mainly, whatever problems you have, you can't run away from them. You carry those problems with you wherever you go. When you were only a couple of days late in paying your rent, you don't suddenly decide, right, we're going to move. Just like that. Nobody would do that. Particularly with young children in school. You can't do that. It's in the children's best interests to stay in the school that they know. Presumably they have friends in the neighbourhood. Presumably you do also. You don't just up and go to another part of the country because you're a few days late with the rent. Nobody would do that. Nobody. I think that when you start getting into problems with finances, for myself, and I know when Alfie and I were first married, there were times when things were a bit difficult. There were times, one time, we borrowed £50 from Alfie's mum. Can't even remember what it was for now, but we paid it back within a couple of weeks. Only time we ever borrowed. I worked, Alfie worked. We always had a good life. Never got into debt. Never decided that we would up and run because we owed money. So if Amy and her husband are saying that they were a few days late with their rent, then stay and discuss it with your landlord. Decide on how you will pay that month back over a period of time. Your husband's got a business, presumably he's got numerous cars that he can sell. He's got collateral there. How are you going to move across country when he's got all these cars there to sell? How are you going to do that? It doesn't make sense. You sit down, you work out a budget, food, etc. It doesn't include nails or anything like that. You work out your budget, you work out what you owe, you decide out how much you're going to be able to spend each month paying that off. You go to the agencies that might be able to help, in your case a mosque. I'm sure that even if your husband had got his own business, which was run down, as you say, there's still government help to be had. certainly from other churches, doesn't matter whether you're a Muslim or not, they still help. You've got friends, presumably, who might help. Your husband, Amy, looks after your children whilst you're on YouTube for goodness knows how many hours every day. How can he possibly put 100% into his business when he's looking after the children, who you really have not got a lot of patience with, I've noticed. Even with this smiley persona and everything else, sometimes that mask slips, doesn't it? So, as I say, just my opinion. I don't think you've got any intention of moving. How could you possibly just rip your kids away from school and their friends? Just like that. You can't do that. Just a few days late with your rent. Neither here nor there. You sort that out. Because you were going to go somewhere without even having the money to travel. So all of the time, if you were going to go, it was in your mind to come on YouTube and ask for money. Stay. Sort out and pay off whatever it is you owe. Leave your children in the schools and in the environment that they're accustomed to. Sell Ali's business. And you know what? I'm sure there are loads of jobs that he might think are beneath him, that you might think are beneath you. But you know, when you're scraping for money, you just have to take what's going, don't you? And that doesn't mean taking from kind people, many of whom haven't got two halfpennies to rub together at times, but they're giving to you because you come on here and you're crying and you're pulling all the emotional strings. My opinion? Nah. My advice to anyone would be, nah. When people start to help themselves, you know, support them. When they come on here asking for money, when they can afford all sorts of therapy and a skunk and nails done and the man staying at home while his business grinds into the ground. Nah. Don't give them a penny. Give it to a homeless shelter. Give it to a no-kill animal shelter. Adopt an animal. Adopt a neighbour. But don't give over the internet. There are too many scammers about and too many gullible people who fall for it. Back tomorrow. Good night.